How's it going, everyone? It is Friday, October 11th, 2024. Let's take a look at the pick from the last video, which was Square. So I gave a CDS as my pick here, and let me move to my main chart. Here is the setup on Square on the D1. So the stock broke through its 200 SMA, broke out of this wedge. You can see there's a couple different trend lines coming into play here, setting up very nicely on that D1 and may advance a little bit higher. So took a nice break, and I entered Square pretty much right around here, around 732. I took the 70.72 CDS for a 75-cent debit. Square pulled back. It tested that SMA today, and now it has some really nice relative strength because it's bouncing off that SMA. We got a buy signal above VWAP, so we're starting to hold some of those gains there. Now, the market has broken out of that compression today, pulling back, testing. So once we find some support, we may have a double bottom potentially here and then start to rally up. That might be a nice opportunity to get in some longs. But for Square, what I did is I closed these short calls over here for a 90% profit. So I got them at around 22 cents credit, closed them for a 2-cent debit. And now I'm just in the $70 calls. The reason I did that is because my risk reward profile doesn't change. If they expire worthless, that's another just two cents, so it doesn't really change too much. However, if I'm right, I have a good chance of actually getting in the money and potentially maybe even scratching out of that original call. So that's kind of my plan right now. I got those original calls for 96 cents. So want to see if I can scratch those calls, which means that I would have taken a 20-cent profit on a 75-cent trade. And that's, I'd say, close to between 25 and 30, between 20 and 30%. So I think around 25%. So I will take that. I think Square is better on a longer-term horizon, but just for a CDS, kind of expired worthless. So still learning those. Not too bummed about that, but we're going to see how that goes on Monday. ORCL. Oracle still looking good on the D1, testing that level, that breakout today. So we got one test, we got a second test is coming in here for a third test. So looks like it has to probably work off that selling pressure. I have this alert line over here, so when it breaks below that line, we should have a good chance of kind of racing up higher. May take a couple of days. It hasn't really been rallying with the market, but it is still strong. So as long as it holds this breakout level, I am interested. We also have this upward sloping trend line coming in our favor and the 8 EMA coming up in our favor. So we'll have a little bit of price point protection here. But right now, we just have to wait this guy out and don't zoom in too much on that M5 chart. Look at it on an M30 basis. We had a big move. Stock pulled back here, testing the breakout level. And once this holds, breaks out, may consider adding to the calls depending on what the market does. But I do like that move in Oracle. And we have WBA, which is still compressing before earnings, not moving too much before or after the number. So still just kind of chopping around. We are preserving this trend line here. It poked here below again, and now rallied up a little bit. So just kind of compressing, not doing a whole lot. So again, just trying to take a better loss on this kind of stock. So that is the positions that we have today. Let's take a look at what the market is doing. We'll start on the D1 basis. So we had PPI that came out yesterday, or sorry, overnight today. Nothing too much going on. We also had bank earnings, which had a favorable reaction in the AM. SPY was able to break out of this mini progression and make a new all-time high today. So on a D1 basis, we are bullish, and this is a good time to take some swing longs. Zooming a little bit over here, here is our move. Compress, tested, and then we got the lift off. We'll probably test this maybe a couple of times again as well and get the lift off. So we'll see how this is looking, but so far this is a powerful looking move on a kind of a shorter term basis. So if I were to draw that trend line here, and then maybe draw that trend line here, okay, that is our channel. So in this bullish channel, that gives us some structure and gives us a sense of what to expect. So we are favoring the long side. Here is SPY. We had a flat open today, and we broke through the high of the day early, which was a very bullish scenario. That's the best scenario, a bullish breakout. We moved up higher. Now we are sort of digesting the gains, sort of a choppy move. It's very similar to what I saw 2 days ago on this breakout, right? We got a pretty powerful move, and then this kind of a choppy move lower, and then this kind of next leg higher. So just kind of waiting out this pullback right now. I'm not doing a whole lot. I did take a win today on Uber, so I'll highlight that trade on and how that worked. Let me zoom in a little bit on the M5. So Uber gap and go kind of stock here. So waited for it to it broke out of the level, and it looked pretty good over here at 11.15. But then I didn't like the market at 11.15 and made this red candle. So I thought, okay, we might see double top. I waited out this bear cycle. Then we got a bullish cross here. So I actually ended up getting in closer at 11.30, which was over here. So with this bullish cross coming in. And then I rode it up, and I took profits on this long green candle on this pop. So that was a nice win. Took it from about 85.30 to about 86, so 70 cents on a high ATR stock. Because I actually didn't have the buying power for shares, I ended up doing calls. So I did the next week's $85 calls. Took them for 196, got out at 230, so that was a 17% gain on those calls. That was a nice little win today on the day trades. I don't really day trade options too much. I prefer to day trade the stock. But in this case, because I had a buying power constraint on my usual size, I had to switch to options. You can see it's a very liquid option investment. So there's that. Now stock is pulling back here, still relatively strong. I am going to set an LRSI alert. I think that's going to set up eventually over here. I'm also going to set a whoops, that's the wrong one. Going to set a end of day alert here. So it's pulling back here. May find some support, and then on that LRSI pullback, that's probably when I'm going to get in on the stock. So that is what I am liking, and that's really the setup I took on Uber. Moved up higher, compress. This is just a minor intraday resistance level. So you can see it broke above over here. Tested that breakout, bounced up higher, and then that's when I took the stock, and then I wrote it up for quick win, in and out. Okay, let's look at some picks for today. There's a whole bunch of stocks that I tagged today. A lot of stocks that are breaking out on the D1. I'm going to flip through just some nice, really bullish charts that I liked personally. Stocks that weren't too overextended. So CNX was a nice breakout, compression breakout off the 8 EMA. Huge mover, still moving up very strong today. PCAR is another little compression breakout. It's gotten through this 200-day SMA. It has some room to this gap over here, 109. So we have some nice room to here. Nice reversal setup through some high minus trend lines and through a very, very, very long-term high minus trend line over here. So I like PCAR. This is more, it's what I call a D1 reversal setup. So stock is in a bearish trend, but it is put in a base, has actually made some higher lows. There's buyers coming in, and we've broken through the 50 SMA. We are above AVWAP-Q. We are on a buy signal. So these are all sort of the stocks. And actually, if I go to my D1 bull reversal, it should come up here. See if I can find it. Maybe not. Maybe there's some other criteria. Oh, probably the weekly options. I don't think it has weekly options. Oh, and it's also above the 200-day SMA. So still looking pretty good. It'll probably come up maybe in here. maybe not. I think it's also weekly options that I'm doing here. Yeah, see, there's a lot of stuff in here. There's PCAR. Okay, because this one actually has over the journey SMA. So this is a nice little reversal pattern. We have some room till this resistance around 109. So a good amount of room there. Let's go to some other ones for today. Beautiful move. This is a nice day trade entry. I missed that entry, so I'm just going to have to wait again for that. Dash, another nice entry. This is a reversal setup. So we test the bid here, test, and then we break through the high of the day right over here. Stock moves up higher, and now we're rubbing up against this 150 level. So I'm not going to take this day trade unless it can break the 150 level. But on the D1, this is a very nice breakout. Compressed, broke out of compression. It tends to be a choppy stock, so you have to have a longer term time horizon for this guy. CG, very similar pattern. A lot of these little compression breaks today. So through this gap, or we filled in the gap here, we got some room to the high. Like CG quite a bit. I liked it a little while ago as well when it broke through this high minus trend line. You can see the stock has just kind of advanced up higher, chugging along. So that was an excellent entry point on CG. COR, very strong stock breaking out of compression today. Had a little bit of a gap in go. Now kind of chopping around. Is a little bit of a choppy stock. ADESC broke out of this compression as well through some high plus trend lines, through this horizontal resistance. I like what I see in this stock. It does have some volume, so I'm going to set an LRSI alert, and then that might be a nice swing to enter at that period. SE, another compression breakout as well. Stock is pulling back intraday today. So there is a decent amount of selling. Not a huge fan of that, but we should still have some signals across multiple time frames. I am going to enter another LRSI alert. That'll give me a good entry signal here. So those are a couple of nice swings that I liked. Let's go through a couple of other ones that I saw. IONQ is another D1 reversal setup. This is a pretty this is much more kind of choppier stock. But you can see basically, if I maybe zoom out just to a weekly chart, get the sense of the trend. Okay, stock basically had this long-term bearish trend, has put in a base, some higher lows, and now it's breaking out of that trend. Now, there's actually a whole bunch of like TA right around this level here, from around 11 to 12 bucks. So there's some room to there. It may break that, it may not break that. It is pretty choppy. But that's kind of the reversal pattern that I like on the stock. It has put in that base. So not a bad one, although I do think there are better setups. KMI, nice move today. Very strong stock. There we go. There's a nice little bullish flag. And then here's where you want to enter on that relative strength breakdown here. Excellent buy signal. Oops. Close that here. You can see this was the trend line break right here, and that ended up producing. So on these trend line breaks, you want to make sure that there is relative strength. So there was relative strength here at the 1205 candle. You got your flat bottom HA candle, HA reversal, close above the 8 EMA. That is a great time to enter the trade. And that's a nice little 45. Yeah, probably get, I don't know, 15 cents on that trade on a, that's a nice win on KMI. So that is a ideal parabolic pullback setup here. Market is finding some support at that. Oh yeah, okay. MSTR is looking good. So we broke. Here's what I like about MSTR. I'll put an alert over here. So stock has broken through the all-time high, and let's just zoom out on this setup on a weekly chart, right? Made this parabolic move, and then stock compressed for a while, holding the gains, and now it's breaking out of that long compression. This is a 6-month compression, so it's a very long compression. So that's what I like on a daily chart. Intraday here, early buy signal broke through here, testing. Potentially maybe at 205, you could see some selling here. But if it can we're seeing this kind of this ascending triangle pattern. So if we can break out on that pattern, then I will take that trade. So that's the setup that I'm liking right now. Let's look at Affirm. Affirm is moving very strongly. Here's another breakdown through this high minus trend line. It is in this wide bullish channel. So if I were to go here, I were to go here, maybe it's probably not the best, but the hell did I make this? There we go. So it's probably something like that. So that might be the channel on Affirm here. So may have a bit of a ceiling and it breaks through around 48, but still not too bad. Lily breaking through this high minus trend line here, getting into the gap. I do like what I'm seeing in Lily. Putting in this higher low. You can also drop in a trend line here, right? So a lot of stocks are breaking out of this wedge formation, which is a nice entry point here for some swing longs, and you got a ton of room on Lily there. So like what I see in that stock. C, nice move. Banks have been very strong today. If we look at C, if we look at JPM, a lot of pre-earnings or post-earnings breakouts, I should say. Sorry. MS, so a lot of finance stocks are moving in sympathy. Cisco was a nice one. Just kind of waiting for the market to find some support. Yep, so this is some beautiful relative strength. So it broke through here, and it has been compressing and gaining some relative strength. So you could say, okay, this is a nice pullback on Cisco, but you can see on this breakout here, everything is right except for the fact that it is relatively weak. So it's not going to take off just yet, right? That's a market move. So now we see, okay, well, Cisco is actually holding all the gains here, holding all the gains while the market is going down. So I'm just going to set an alert on Cisco over here. And then when it breaks through here, I could probably ride that to the top over there and then take some nice gains on that stock. So now you want to have that relative strength on an intraday time frame. So that's some nice picks here. So I gave you a lot of options. If I had to give, here's a couple of setups that I am going to outline here for my YouTube picks. So, because there's a lot of setups. So first is Master on the high of the day break, Cisco on the compression break, and for both of these, we need SPY to find some support and break above VWAP here. Again, I'd like to see a close above that 8 EMA. I'd like to see a flat bottom HA candle on SPY. So that'll tells me to look, okay, that SPY bottom is in. We're starting to move up higher. I'm not going to bite the bullet too much. And then for swings, I think I am going to go with PCAR over here. I think PCAR is going to be my swing long. Like what I see in the stock, it's holding up very well relative to the market. I mean, we've got all the things we need here. We got a nice reversal pattern, technical breakout, good volume. So I'm going to ride PCAR up over here, probably to 109. It's probably going to be my target. So that is at a good spot. We are through that 200-day SMA, so we're going to lean on that as our support, which puts us at 104-ish. It'll probably be 105. So 150 away from support, about 250 away from resistance. So that is a nice risk reward. So PCAR is going to be the swing long for today. Thank you for watching, everyone. We will evaluate Oracle, Square, and WBA, as well as we'll see how Master, Cisco, and PCAR did on tomorrow's video. Let's put that over here. Master, MSTR, Cisco, and car. All right. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you all on Monday.